Start recording then.
Great.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicolas Rios. I am in track 43 of the symposium. I'm a fourth year liberal studies major with a minor in marketing, presenting for the School of Business. My faculty mentor is Professor Sean Josso. I am delighted to share my presentation titled How to Keep Pepsi's Brand from Going Flat. My presentation is adapted from the PepsiCo marketing plan project I did last quarter in Business 103, Marketing and Distribution Management. So the research question I'm going to answer in my presentation is, what opportunities does PepsiCo have to grow as a brand, and what obstacles do they face? Now, company reports often include a SWOT analysis, that's SWOT, which stands for strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. The aim of this type of analysis is to assess what obstacles a company faces and what things are in the company's favor. Similarly, I'm going to talk about PepsiCo's strength as a company and brand, their weaknesses in that area, and the opportunities that are available to PepsiCo, as well as the threats that pose a challenge to them. In studying PepsiCo's current situation and performance in the market and the opportunities and challenges laid out before them, I aim to examine how businesses, especially one that has been around as long as PepsiCo, can respond to them to achieve their goal of being successful. I also want to examine how they can use their strengths and opportunities to get ahead and expand their business. So first, let's start with a profile of the company. PepsiCo is a leading producer of food products and various beverages. Pepsi-Cola was first created by pharmacist and entrepreneur Caleb Bradham in 1898 and was first sold to Bradham's pharmacy customers. The modern version of the PepsiCo Corporation, of the Pepsi Corporation came to be in 1965 when Pepsi-Cola CEO Donald Kendall and Frito-Lay CEO Herman Lay struck a deal to merge their two companies to form PepsiCo. This merger would make the company a major player in both the food and beverage industries. It currently owns some of the biggest brands in those industries, such as Frito-Lay, Quaker Oats, Tropicana, Gatorade, and the eponymous Pepsi-Cola. PepsiCo made over $70 billion in net revenue as of 2020. Their major competitors are Coca-Cola and Keurig Dr. Pepper, who, unlike PepsiCo, only focus on beverages and not food products. PepsiCo's commitment to being a leader in both the food product and beverage industry can be seen in their vision statement, which states, "Be the global leader in convenient foods and beverages by winning with purpose." So I'd like to share some of the data I compiled about PepsiCo. This here is PepsiCo's 5-year financial overview for the period of 5 years between 2016 and 2020. As you can see, all these metrics, including cost of marketing, have been on an upward trend throughout these years. The one that saw the largest increase was net revenue, which increased by $7.57 billion over that period. Net revenue had its biggest increase between the years of 2019 and 2020, when net revenue increased by $3.31 billion. This also increased PepsiCo's gross profit by $3.998 billion. Their gross profit had slow growth between 2016 and 2017, only increasing by $152 million, while it would always increase by at least $1 billion in future years. 2018 is where this trend started, and PepsiCo started seeing those more substantial increases in profit. Their net income increased by $791 million overall. Though interestingly, it had a dip from 6,329 million to 4,857 million dollars between the years of 2016 to 2017. They had a large spike in 2018 when it suddenly shot up to $12,513 million, then came back down to 7,314 million the following year. Its stock price only rose by $43.67, but had its ups and downs along the way. But PepsiCo also increased their spending on marketing by $280 million, which is still small compared to the other metrics. I think this implies that PepsiCo is seeing great returns on its marketing investments as their revenue grew greatly, while they only raised their spending on marketing by a very small amount over the same period. And the one that stayed most stagnant was their stock price. And I think overall this shows that PepsiCo is still a healthy business that is showing signs of growth. And here's data I got about the overall soda production industry. On the left is a graph about the major companies in the soda production industry. PepsiCo is the single corporation with the largest production share in the industry. They account for 35% of production and have a revenue of $13.72 billion, which is over double the revenue of their largest competitor, the Coca-Cola bottling company United, which made only $5.5 billion of revenue and made up only 14.2% of soda production. This gives PepsiCo a massive lead over its other competitors when it comes to production. PepsiCo occupies an even higher share than Keurig Dr. Pepper, who only has a paltry 11.1% share of soda production in the United States. The category labeled Other is the only one with more revenue and production than PepsiCo, but that's probably made up of more than one company overall. This shows that PepsiCo heavily prioritizes production and that it's able to produce a lot of products while still being profitable. The graphics on the right show the segmentation of products in the soda and carbonated beverage industry. It reveals that regular carbonated soft drinks made by carbonating water and flavoring it with other ingredients still makes up the majority of soda production. Mixers and other beverages come in second with 23.9%. Then diet soft drink offerings and sparkling water comes in at 17.7%. And lastly, energy and sports drinks at 11.2%. This distribution is good news for PepsiCo since their flagship product, Pepsi, falls under the largest segment. And as we'll get to later, PepsiCo also has brands that offer customers products from all the other segments, meaning they have all their bases covered. PepsiCo has successfully extended their business to all these other segments, meaning that no matter how customers want to get refreshed, PepsiCo has a product for them. So here's the methodology I used for research. So I compiled the data for PepsiCo's 5-year financial overview from different sources, those being macrotrends.net, statista.com, and PepsiCo's own website, pepsico.com. And it's an analysis of PepsiCo's historical data from the 5-year period of 2016 to 2020. Now, obviously, most, if not all of this data is from before the COVID-19 pandemic, which on one hand means we could track PepsiCo's market performance under relatively normal market conditions. But on the other hand, it does not provide insight into how the pandemic affected PepsiCo's business, which would be interesting to see going forward. The graph of soda production from the major players in the soda production industry was sourced from the IBIS World Report, Soda Production in the US, published in 2021. IBIS World is a database that provides market research and statistics for various industries. And this report was focused on the production of soda and other beverage categories. The report does not specify which or how many companies fall under the other category, but it's still significant that it took multiple companies to reach a size of production and revenue comparable to PepsiCo, showing how large the company is in the industry. The products and services segmentation graph was also sourced from the same IBIS World Report. Now that graph is a more general look at the soda production industry, but as I've mentioned before, PepsiCo has brands for all those different segments. Now, through my research, I found that PepsiCo still remains a leading company in the soda production industry, and the revenues and profit are still growing over a 5-year period, which is promising for the company. So I think PepsiCo should focus on maintaining their position as a leader in the market. They have an opportunity to continue their growth because PepsiCo's own research shows that consumption of soft drinks has risen among consumers. This provides an opportunity for them to offer different products to meet the different kinds of increased demands. And they already do this by offering products such as Bubbly for sparkling water, Gatorade for sports drinks, Rockstar for energy drinks, and Diet Pepsi for diet carbonated soft drinks. They are already trying to expand their reach through partnerships such as producing alcoholic Hard Mountain Dew with Boston Beer Company and plant-based food products with Beyond Meat. Now, 2 challenges that PepsiCo faces are the high levels of competition in the snack and beverage industries from companies such as Coca-Cola and Kellogg's, and the low liquidity of their assets, which makes it difficult for them to make quick financial decisions since most of their assets are not cash that can be easily spent. Now, I think my research is impactful because studying PepsiCo as a legacy brand has implication on branding and business. Every business faces challenges they have to overcome to be successful, but they also have strengths and opportunities that they can take advantage of. PepsiCo is already a leader in its industry, and it seems like they're taking actions to grow even more and reach new consumers by providing products in different product categories that meet their customers' needs. The case study of PepsiCo is an example of a legacy brand continuing to grow, and studying what they do in the future will set an example of how to continue growth and how to extend brands to reach new consumers and overcome business obstacles. This concludes my presentation. I would like to thank my faculty advisor, Sean Josso, my fellow business school presenters who provided support to each other and myself, and my friend Christian, who let me practice my presentation on him. I now open the floor to questions.
Thank you, Nicolas. I certainly have a few, but perhaps Christian, who is in your field, wants to start? Or yeah, whoever.
I do have a quick question. How do you feel about a lot of companies, although business is not my major, I do like to put my nose into other things. And my question is, how do you feel about many companies? Do you think that PepsiCo should step in their nose into doing collaborations with influencers such as Dunkin' Donuts? I know it's not similar, but a lot of like companies like Dunkin' Donuts, coffee brands are collaborating with influencers, and a lot of influencers are creating their own beverages. Do you feel that PepsiCo should take that step forward to doing collaborations as a way to market to more people out there?
So by Dunkin' Donuts, you mean also collaborations with like other companies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, if influencer marketing is obviously growing with pretty much any like consumer product. I mean, PepsiCo does have a social media presence where they make fun, flashy videos to promote their drinks. I mean, they had a whole social media campaign for the Super Bowl since they sponsored that. As for partnering with other brands, I mean, like as I mentioned, they're already partnering with other companies. And I didn't mention this in my presentation, but PepsiCo is already partnering with Starbucks to produce those like bottle Starbucks that you could buy in the store. So, I mean, yeah, PepsiCo, I think, is really good at leveraging partnerships and, brand integrations, things like that.
Any other comments or questions?
I have a question, if you don't
Yes.
mind. My question is first of all, I'm totally surprised that Pepsi has so much larger of a market share of the beverages, right?
Mhm.
Not just in terms of food and beverage, but in beverages in terms of that
Yes.
chart you showed. I don't know how to wrap my head around the fact that they're so far ahead of Coca-Cola. What do you make of that? Is it because of the variety of niche markets? In other words, that they have done more than Coca-Cola in terms of, for instance, I also had no idea that they were working with Starbucks, but now I understand what you're talking about, right? Those drinks at 7-Eleven are from Pepsi Cola, right?
Yes.
Is that what explains it? Their sheer number of differentiated products?
No, yeah, I mean that's the sense I got too, that it's just how differentiated and how many different products and brands they own, which is surprising to myself and pretty much everyone out there. Like I like before researching this, I didn't know they own Tropicana, which I drink a lot. If I'm not mistaken, I think they also own the Naked Juice brand. You know,
Yeah.
there was also what else was there? Mountain Dew. And I mean, there's just have so many things. And I mean, I know Coca-Cola also has different beverage brands like Powerade, but yeah, I got the sense that PepsiCo's reach really is just very vast and far-reaching.
Are you just focusing on the US? Can you say more about other markets? I mean, where is PepsiCo growing? I mean, I assume your percentage is not just about the US market, right? Or is it?
So the first graph I showed was of their overall revenue and gross income. That seemed to be worldwide, like just for the company in general. But the IBIS World Report, where I sourced the rest of my data, yes, that was focused on soda production in the United States.
Okay. But where in overseas is PepsiCo making profits?
So to be honest, I didn't really get much financial data from overseas, though. According to their market line report from last year, which is basically a report auditing the whole company and their operations, they are opening a lot of production facilities in other countries. Like recently they opened one in the United Kingdom. I think they're also looking at like Egypt to open more production plants.
I mean, it's a global company, right? It's
yes.
a global corporation. I mean, you would assume China would be a big market. They've been kicked out of Russia right now,
Yeah.
as McDonald's and other companies as well.
Yeah.
Well, with this huge amount of revenue and profits, you cannot just talk about the US market. I mean, there must be, or are there different marketing strategies outside the US?
Well, as for marketing strategies, I mean, I know they have different social media pages specific to different countries, like a Spanish social media page, one for the UK, all that. Also slightly different advertisements.
Okay. Do we have any other comments at this moment? Otherwise, we can go to Ethan. So thank you very much, Nicolas. We'll come back to you with more questions. So Ethan will talk about a quite different topic. I've known Ethan for 3 years now. He's one of the few students in my classes now whom I actually met in person. He was in my Bosnia class and sat right in front of me. He didn't say much, but when he said something, I always had to pay attention. And he then ended up in my 2-quarter seminar on and worked on American imperialism, colonialism in 19th century Samoa. And now you're doing a follow-up study on oral history in the Samoan community. Ethan is a very good student. He was just accepted, his article that he produced in my seminar was just accepted for publication in the Honor Society journal Audeamus. That is quite an achievement. And as he wrote to me in an email earlier, he was just accepted into the Hawaiian Civic Center Club, sponsored by higher ups, you say, in the Pacific Islands. Is it Health Partnership, HP? Wow.
Yeah, Pacific Islander Health Partnership.
That is quite an honor for someone who is not a Pacific Islander. So we're eager to hear more about your public history project. And please don't forget to record yourself.